So some of you may have clicked on this video because you are considering the Canon R6, or you just need someone to talk you out of making an impulsive camera buying decision. And if so, I am more than happy to have already fallen on that sword for you so that you can get my experience with this camera firsthand. So my hope for this video is that it offers some insight into my frustrations that I've experienced with the Canon R6 over the last year and give you an idea on what would be the best decision for you and your business. Full disclosure, this is based off of one filmmaker's opinion, myself, and my experience is not the only one, so I do encourage you guys to do a bit more research beyond this video on the Canon R6. If you may still be on the fence, it's always good to get a second, third, even fourth opinion when making an investment decision. All right, so let's talk about the R6. We all know that when the Canon R5 and R6 were announced, us Canon users got really excited, up until we learned about its limitations, with the most popular, of course, being the overheating issues. Honestly, you just can't expect professionals or even consumers to be on board with a camera that has that possibility. That was the biggest issue / reason I left Sony back in 2017 with the Sony a7S II. And the fact that I've been with the R6 for this long shows some serious dedication. Because with the Canon, you do get a multitude of positive features with beautiful colors right out of camera, ergonomics, easy menu systems, responsive autofocus. I honestly wanted to give the R6 the benefit of the doubt. And don't get me wrong, it is an almost perfect camera besides its bipolar tendencies. If this camera didn't have the possibility of overheating, I could honestly see Canon being the #1 manufacturer for the mirrorless video space. But because of that reason, and probably a lot others, it's just not. And Sony is honestly the leading lady when it comes to video. So obviously reason #1 is going to be the overheating issue. It becomes unreliable, and with professional work, you really need a camera that is going to work for you and not against you. The tools you use to create should never give you uncertainty and pause, and that's exactly what the Canon R6 did for me. You should be confident in the tools you use and that it will do everything that you need it to. Questioning whether or not this camera is going to last through a full ceremony or speech at a wedding is something that should never really be a thought in your mind. Of course, the overheating is not the only reason. There are several others, such as reason #2 being no customizations. One of the biggest selling points for Sony is the fact that you can customize buttons, make presets, set up your camera to get you from point A to point B as fast as possible. With the Canon R6, you have to go into your menu to change your frame rate, set to APS-C mode, switch to C-Log, and a lot of other things, and it just wastes a lot of time, and especially being a run-and-gun filmmaker where really you are at the mercy of time. You need every second in order to make sure that you are servicing your couples in an amazing way, and the Canon R6 with those limitations just doesn't allow for quick and effective maneuvering, and because you're not able to serve that moment in the way it deserves, you're really just battling your camera instead of letting it work for you. Reason #3 is going to be photo mode. Now don't get me wrong, the R6 is an amazing photography camera. I love shooting photography on this camera. It has incredible autofocus features, and the images that you are able to achieve from this camera is just stunning. But that is because this camera is more catered towards photographers over the filmmakers. My gripe with the photo mode is for the more ambidextrous filmmakers who do both photo and video. Because while in photo mode, if you wanted to shoot video, the video that you record is all auto. So you don't know what your ISO is, you don't know what your shutter is, you don't know what your aperture is, and honestly, you are sacrificing your image and playing a game of roulette with your image because you don't know what it's going to really turn out to be because it's all auto. And honestly, if you are delivering a high-end product and you consider yourself a professional in the wedding scene, that's just not typically what you want to be delivering to your clients. You want to make sure that you control every aspect of that image, and just having it be auto based only while in photo mode is not something that I would consider professional, in my opinion. And this is where custom modes would become incredibly useful in cameras like the Canon R5 and R6 for the more versatile shooters because they're able to easily switch between photo, video without having to sacrifice their image or lose all of the settings that they had previously made. Which brings me to number 4, and that is just innovation. You know, when it comes to Canon, they have made incredible strides in the realm of video. But is it enough? There's always 1 or 2 features that is and is not included in new cameras like the R5 and R6 that really make you question, is this camera going to be worth it for me because it's missing a really crucial component to what I'm used to or what I need in order to create? And so therefore, a lot of the decisions that people are making is not going to be with Canon because of those limitations. And it really does make the difference whether that be no customization or a crop in 4K or 10-bit only being available in C-Log 3 or being at the mercy of auto video while in photo mode. These features really do matter when it comes to wedding filmmaking or just filmmaking in general. These features or lack thereof are really important for filmmakers when considering which camera to buy. And this isn't to say that Canon doesn't innovate, because of course they obviously do. And I think it's fair to say that Canon does favor photographers over filmmakers just based on the specs that you see in some of these new Canon cameras. Reason number 5 is limited recording. Obviously, this ties in with the overheating issues, being that you are at the mercy of this camera just completely shutting off after 15 minutes, 20 minutes while shooting in 4K continuous, which when it comes to long form shooting on the wedding day, like the ceremony or the speeches, and you really need longer than 5 to 10 minutes of continuous record time in order to serve that moment, but are at the mercy of it overheating, then you honestly shouldn't be considering the Canon R6 as your main camera. If you plan on filming 8 to 10 second clips throughout the day and you're just really there to make sure you get enough B-roll elements to tell a great story while your main shooter is capturing all of the more longer form pieces with a different camera, then I think honestly this camera is a great choice for that. But again, do you really want a camera that has those limitations to where it's only best utilized in certain elements on a wedding day, instead of having a more well-rounded camera that serves all aspects of the wedding day? I don't know, just something to think about. You know, I'm ready for a change. It's a new year, it's 2022, there's a lot of new cameras out, and honestly, to be honest with you guys, I've been influenced. You know, whenever there's something new, a new camera, you know, honestly, it just gets shoved down your face. There's a new YouTube video out. There's actually like several new YouTube videos out. It's quite literally thrown in your face. And you watch the videos, you see all the features, you just kind of are romanced into wanting this camera. And honestly, that's just the world we live in. And it's honestly, it's kind of terrible because you're basically influencing someone to purchase something else when the gear they have could possibly work just fine, but they look at it now as, you know, 5-day-old pizza. It's garbage, it's trash, it's no good anymore, and therefore they just want to get rid of it. They want to throw it out. And so yeah, that's just the world we live in, but you know, it's still exciting nonetheless. You know, getting something new, obviously that feeling is really exciting, but honestly, it should also encourage you guys to look at the tools you have, appreciate them, you know, question whether or not they are really servicing your clients, they are servicing you in a creative way, they are allowing you to do the things that you want to creatively fulfill you. Asking those big questions before you really jump into a new camera or consider buying a new camera. Because at the end of the day, yes, these new cameras, these tools are amazing. It's just so much fun. But, you know, they aren't the only thing that matters. Because your pocket, your money, your finances, that's also something that matters. And so that's one thing to consider, is just not wasting all this money on new gear just because it's thrilling. You don't want to miss out on the latest and greatest. You want to be smart and just, you know, take it slow. I mean, all my gear that I have accumulated has been over 10 years, right? It's not something that just happens overnight. So just something to think about when looking at new cameras. And that's just kind of where I'm at. I'm at the point now where I just, yeah, I'm ready for a change. I want something new. The R6 just isn't fulfilling me anymore. It's honestly giving me more pause and hesitation than it should. And so yeah, I am looking for something that is going to do the job well, that is going to allow me to be creative, be creatively free, and not worry about my camera spontaneously combusting on me on the wedding day. So yeah, that's where I'm at. 5 reasons on why I'm selling the Canon R6. So there you go. All right, guys, thank you so much for sticking around with me for another video. I hope you found it helpful or valuable in some way. If you did, it would mean so much if you consider liking this video, hit that subscribe button, and leave me a comment. Let me know which camera are you utilizing for 2022. Is it the Canon R6? Is it something else? Either way, I would love to hear from you guys. So until next time, keep creating and telling beautiful stories. Peace.
I got the way to make the path work. All these lights turning from red to green. Time is